When Carter moved into his aunt and uncle's weather-worn farmhouse deep in the hills of rural Tennessee, it didn't feel like a fresh start. It felt like punishment. After the sudden loss of his parents in a wreck so violent the funeral required closed caskets, he was handed off like an unwanted package to the only blood relatives who answered the call, Raymond and Meredith Bell. The house, nestled between fog-thickened pines and crooked fields, seemed to breathe with its own lungs. Its walls creaked at night, not from age, but from memory. The air smelled of damp timber and something else, something metallic and old. The floors groaned beneath Carter's footsteps as if protesting his presence. Uncle Raymond was a hulking man with hands like bark and a voice like molasses. Aunt Meredith wore a constant look of pleasant vacancy, her pale eyes always darting just past him, as if seeing something invisible. They never raised their voices, never showed anger, never hit him. And yet, Carter had never felt less safe. There was only one rule in the Bell house: never open the basement door. Carter didn't at first. He tried to obey, but he couldn't ignore the late-night guests. They came only after the sun had disappeared behind the hills, their tires crunching the gravel like bones. Carter would sneak to the top of the stairs and peek through the banister rails as shadowy figures filed in through the front door, silent, pale, and trembling. Some wore gloves or scarves regardless of the weather. Others clutched small suitcases or pressed folded cloths to their chests. All of them looked like they were arriving for something terrible, something final. He asked Meredith once who they were. "People seeking peace," she said sweetly. "Sometimes, Carter, grown-ups sin so badly they lose their way. We just help them find it again." "But why the basement?" he pressed. Her eyes shimmered. "Because light lies above ground, but down there, the truth burns clean." Carter didn't know what she meant, but he began to hear things. Groans muffled by floorboards, shuffling footsteps long after the guests had disappeared below, whispers that fluttered like moths through the air vents, and then the smell, bleach, yes, but underneath it, a rotting sweetness that clung to the walls like mold. By the time Carter turned 16, the mystery of the basement had consumed him. He studied the timing of the visits. He mapped the creaks in the staircase. And then one day, searching for a can opener, he found it, the key. It was hidden in a false-bottom drawer in the pantry, behind a stack of dust-covered jars. The brass was dulled with age, but the head bore a distinct carving, a serpent eating its own tail, etched in looping precision. Carter's pulse quickened. This was it. This was the lock that had held every answer hostage. He waited for the perfect moment. It came on a Wednesday. Rain slicked the windows, and his aunt and uncle left for town without their usual calmness. They looked rushed, like something had gone wrong. As soon as their truck disappeared down the gravel road, Carter moved. He turned the key in the heavy basement door. The mechanism clicked with a reluctant groan. The smell hit him immediately, a wave of coppery rot and chemical sting. It clung to the back of his throat like smoke. The stairs creaked downward into darkness. There was no switch. Instead, a single flashlight hung from a hook. He took it, fingers trembling, and descended. The deeper he went, the colder it became. The basement wasn't a single room. It was a network of hallways chiseled into the earth, lined with rusted pipes and makeshift doors. Hooks lined the walls, some empty, others holding tools, scalpels, clamps, leather straps, jars of dark liquid. At the first corner, he heard her. "Am I forgiven yet?" The voice was dry, like leaves in wind. Carter turned the flashlight and nearly dropped it. A woman, old, emaciated, her skin bruised yellow and gray, sat chained to a ring in the concrete floor. Her eyes were blind, pupils milked over, lips cracked. She smiled when she heard his breath. "You're new," she whispered. I don't know what this place is." She only nodded. "Neither did I, but they showed me. The light always shows." The beam flickered as he stumbled away. Around the next bend, a red glow lit the air, warm, steady, humming. Carter rounded the corner and froze. A man stood shirtless at a steel table, his torso a map of scars and fresh bleeding cuts. In one shaking hand, he held a scalpel. His eyes were wild with pain and ecstasy. "I lied again," he muttered, staring at the blade. "I looked where I shouldn't. I wanted what wasn't mine. And now I pay." He carved another line into his side, slow, deliberate, until the blood ran down in dark ribbons. Then, reverently, he dipped his fingers into a bowl of black liquid and began painting over his teeth. Carter staggered back, bile rising in his throat. "What is this place? What are you doing?" Behind him, a hand clamped his shoulder. He flinched, but didn't resist. Uncle Raymond stood there, calm, eyes filled with something between pity and pride. "You came on your own," he said. "That means you're ready." Aunt Meredith appeared from the shadows. She carried a ceremonial bowl brimming with ink. Carter was too frozen to run. They led him into a room with a concrete throne built into the wall. Straps hung from the arms. Meredith whispered words in a language older than English. Raymond held Carter's arms gently as the straps fastened with a click. "You've been blind too long," Meredith said. "Let the light show you." She painted his teeth with ink. It tasted like ashes and blood. Then she held a flashlight to his face and turned it on. It wasn't just light. It was white fire, an overwhelming brilliance that seared through Carter's pupils and deep into his skull. He screamed, his body thrashed, but the straps held. "You'll see it now," Raymond whispered. "The truth beneath, the lie you lived. Burn it away." The pain swallowed him. When it finally receded, Carter couldn't see. Not darkness, nothing. Days passed, maybe weeks. The pain ebbed and returned. His skin cracked. His lips bled. The voices never stopped. "Confess," Gloria whispered beside him. "Only then can you be forgiven." The cuts reopened every time he moved. And then, one day, the pain stopped. His skin had tightened, flaked, hardened like paper. When Raymond entered again, he bowed his head. "You are ready." Carter didn't speak. He couldn't. His throat was sealed with dry skin. They wrapped him slowly, carefully. His body no longer resisted. He was no longer a boy. Now he was part of the ritual, part of the house, part of the whispers below. And when the next child peers down the staircase, curious, afraid, he'll be the one to whisper back, "Not yet, but soon."